And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is gonna feel something from it. And it ain't gonna be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out.
In Florida, man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots.
Oh, Tank's gonna kill him. Tank's gonna kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then
Okay. It's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when there was
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, oh, in barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's gonna kill him because he will not get hit.
The boxing community is stunned as Gervonta Davis appears in the best shape ahead of his upcoming fight with Jake Paul. Training footage shows him hammering the heavy bag with explosive strength and sharp precision. His focused movements and relentless energy prove how seriously he's preparing, leaving boxing experts impressed by his conditioning and confidence before the upcoming matchup. Analysts explain that Gervonta Davis has a strong chance of winning, but only if he fights intelligently. They emphasize that he must rely on movement, ring control, and timing instead of chasing a knockout early. Tank's brilliance lies in his patience and ability to read his opponent's rhythm. Experts believe that if he focuses on sticking and moving, Jake Paul won't be able to handle his precision and speed. Davis is recognized as one of the most explosive punchers in boxing, but his defensive skills and counterpunching are what truly make him dangerous. Many agree that when he fights smart, no opponent of Jake's level can compete with his combination of technique, power, and footwork.
Can his speed and, his ability make up for that size difference, in your honest opinion?
Well, he has to be very smart throughout the course of the fight. It's hard to know in some things. I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab. Jake's fighting one of the best boxers ever.
Experts predict that Jake Paul will face a harsh reality once he steps into the ring with Gervonta Davis. They believe Tank's experience, speed, and fight IQ are levels above what Jake has ever encountered. Jake's previous opponents, though physically strong, lacked Tank's explosive timing and ability to exploit openings. Many analysts think the power difference will be overwhelming once Tank lands clean. They describe Jake's defense as raw and untested, while Davis's ring experience allows him to calculate every movement. With that, they see a knockout as almost inevitable. The general belief is that when Tank connects, Jake won't have the endurance or defensive awareness to recover, leading to a sudden and brutal finish.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta Tank Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14th down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta Tank Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all gonna say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis, he needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested hit by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I'll say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
that's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level. And it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilaquiles.
Chilaquiles. Chilaquiles.
The topic of weight has become one of the biggest points of debate surrounding this matchup. Some argue that the size difference is too significant to ignore, while others believe Gervonta's refined skill set will overshadow the physical gap. Fans and experts alike remain divided. Some question if the fight should even take place given Jake's larger frame. Still, supporters of Tank insist that his speed, discipline, and precision allow him to outperform larger fighters with ease. They remind everyone that boxing isn't about size, but about control, angles, and timing. Many feel Jake's fundamentals are still too limited to pose a real threat, and Tank's technical superiority will neutralize any size advantage Jake holds.
It is happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child, Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the results will not be officially recorded on their professional records.
Michael Bisping acknowledges Tank's incredible power and skill, but warns that size can't be completely ignored. He respects Gervonta's ability to adapt against bigger fighters, yet he points out that physical difference always has some influence. According to Bisping, Tank can outthink and outmaneuver Jake, but the weight gap might test his endurance and resistance against heavier shots. Still, he admires Tank's determination and believes that if anyone can overcome this challenge, it's him. He concludes that even though the size factor remains real, Davis's technical edge might still be enough to overcome Jake's physical advantage if he maintains a flawless strategy.
Out there taking on Mike Tyson that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago. And I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday, because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight, against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many, many times and not knock him out with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix. Fair play.
Several analysts criticize how Gervonta Davis's resume has been unfairly disrespected. They explain that fighters who share the ring with Tank often gain massive recognition afterward. For example, opponents like Lamont, who were relatively unknown before facing Davis, have gone on to become popular and successful following their bouts with him. Analysts argue that this proves Tank's influence and star power within the sport. They reject the idea that Davis is not the face of boxing, claiming that his fights create opportunities for others and keep fans engaged. To them, criticizing his legacy ignores how much he has elevated the profile of many fighters just by stepping in the ring with them.
Ongoing discussion in the boxing world about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis, his resume, who he's going to fight, the competitors that he's going to fight. And every once in a while, something happens that proves that Gervonta Davis is the face of that. If he's not the face of boxing because people just don't want him to be that, man, he is real close to it, because other than Canelo Alvarez, and even consider Canelo Alvarez included, nobody in boxing has divisions circulating around him like Gervonta Davis does. And that was proved during this Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz announcement for their pay-per-view. Just think about this. Gervonta Davis, they always say that Gervonta Davis has a poor resume, but yet Gervonta Davis, guys that fight Gervonta Davis, lose to Gervonta Davis, or get a draw to Gervonta Davis, can fight one another and make an anticipated pay-per-view between the two of them. Because that fight with Pitbull Cruz is a very, very popular fighter with Mexican fight fans. Lamont Roach got a lot of name exposure with black fight fans and Mexican fight fans and white fight fans, all with his draw that he got against Gervonta Davis. Now they believe that this is going to be able to be a profitable endeavor for a pay-per-view. Now, let me also tell you that Rolly Romero, who was somebody else that Gervonta Davis fought in the past, will be on a pay-per-view that's going to be successful, most likely, when he defends his WBC 140-pound championship. Or does he have the WBA?
Coach Reg offers a balanced view regarding the criticism directed at Davis. He reminds people that Gervonta has already achieved more than most fighters his age. According to him, there's nothing wrong with taking high-paying fights once you've proven yourself. Reg believes Tank deserves to secure his financial future after years of hard work and risk. He mentions that every boxer eventually reaches a point where earning life-changing paydays becomes important. For Reg, the critics overlook how much Tank has contributed to the sport and underestimate his dedication. He believes that whether Tank retires soon or continues fighting, he has already solidified his place among the best lightweights of this era.
You know what I mean? Especially Tank been talking about retiring, so why not get the bag and then go about your business if that's your plan? I mean, if that's your plan to retire, then go get the bag and go about your business. You ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm not against it.
You got some people that are very critical of Tank. Does it make sense depending on what you're in boxing for? Because you got some people that want to fight the best. You got some people that want the accolades, the belts, the undisputeds. And you got some people that just came in this game like, look, I'm trying to get my family out of poverty and give us generational wealth. Does it all depend on what you decided to box for?
Well, Tank accomplished a lot at a young age. You know what I mean? He accomplished a lot at a young age. So I wouldn't be mad if he took the bag and went about his business and never fought again. You know what I mean? Plus, look at some of the things that he's going through. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of that can affect you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to be in this game. So I think, get the bag and go. That's your plan. Get the bag and go.
For me, of course, I wanted to see him fight Shakur. I wanted to see him fight Devin.
Yeah, we all wanted to see him fight.
Guess what, bro?
Some analysts point out that part of the attention surrounding this fight also comes from Davis's popularity and cultural impact. Being a well-known black fighter in America, Tank naturally draws significant media and fan attention. His fights are not just sporting events, but also cultural moments that resonate with audiences. Experts mention that his fame has made him one of boxing's biggest names, and with that comes both admiration and criticism. They add that public perception plays a big role in how fights like this are received, and Davis's prominence ensures that his every move becomes headline news. Still, most agree that his talent, not just his fame, has earned him this spotlight.
Tank Davis, especially an American black fighter, right? Everything is embellished and, made into a bigger deal, especially when they're popular fighters like Gervonta Davis. Or Floyd Mayweather has a close fight with Castillo Maidana, and it's the end of the world. Andre Ward has a tough fight with Kovalev. Oh, it's the end of the world. He cheated and all this stuff. Jermell Charlo has a close fight with Castano, so on and so forth, right? Oh, Jermell, it was a robbery, and it turns into this big deal. But back to Tank's resume, his last opponent was Lamont Roach. I thought he won the fight. There wasn't this crazy action happening on Lamont Roach's side prior to that knee thing. I feel like when the knee fiasco happened, that's when the fight started to pick up a bit. And Lamont Roach, I think what he deserves credit for is he exceeded expectations that people have for him. But you can't score a fight based on expectations. You feel me? Right? Like, you don't get a fight and get the victory because you did better than people thought you were going to do. That is not how you score boxing, right? You don't get more points because you're the underdog and you did better. It's not how boxing works at all, right?
Many analysts see this matchup as more of a global spectacle than a purely competitive contest. Jake Paul's rise to fame through social media and entertainment has made him a crossover figure rather than a traditional boxer. Experts argue that this fight's purpose is not only to settle a sporting rivalry, but also to attract mainstream audiences. With Netflix involved in broadcasting, the fight is guaranteed massive exposure. While some predict Tank will dominate completely due to his elite experience, others believe Jake's celebrity factor keeps the event exciting. The fight symbolizes the blending of entertainment and boxing, where skill meets spectacle. Whether it's competitive or not, it's certain to draw millions of viewers and push both fighters into global headlines.
Jake Paul, thoughts? I will reiterate one more time. I would rather see this because it's a spectacle than him versus Ryan Borland or Andre August or chasing these like quote-unquote championship dreams in boxing. I don't think he's a championship level boxer. I don't really care about that journey. I want to see him in spectacles. Netflix is going to air Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. So to me, this is,
Do you think it will do well?
It will be watched. It will be watched.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. A lot of people are going to watch.
I would rather see Anthony Joshua just because that has been put out there and is on the table. But I will watch this.
I saw some people breaking this down on, it was a non-fight pod. It was, I don't remember which one. And they were saying like, oh, Tank's going to kill him. Tank's going to kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then
It's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when there was
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, oh, in barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's going to kill him because he will not get hit.
Stephen Fulton publicly defends Gervonta Davis against critics accusing him of chasing easy money. Fulton argues that every boxer has the right to secure financial stability, especially given how short and dangerous their careers can be. He points out that Tank has already proven his worth through years of dominance, and taking high-profile fights now is a natural move. Fulton urges fans to look beyond the surface, saying Davis has earned the right to balance legacy with financial reward. His defense of Tank highlights a growing sentiment within the boxing community, respect for fighters who understand their value and refuse to be boxed into outdated expectations.
Anybody in that position would have taken that fight, especially with the payout. It's like, that's a no-brainer, but I understand. I still feel for Lamont, that's my boy. Like, he still want his rematch. But then when you be realistic about the money situation, you're changing your whole family life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's people hate on it because they're not in that position. I'm not saying Lamont. I'm speaking like other boxers. Be like, oh, he this for that. He's this. It's a side quest. It's a little side quest. Because what happened when Floyd and all these guys went on WWE, but then they get right back to what they're doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's another little side quest. I'm all for people just getting their money, so get the best, make the most that you can out of this entertainment world. Because, I mean, I don't know. I would have done it as far as the money aspect, because none of us would deny that money. They talking like they would. None of them would deny that money.
Eddie Chambers warns that overlooking Gervonta Davis would be a serious mistake. He recognizes Jake Paul's physical advantage, but insists that Tank's skill, power, and fight IQ make him a nightmare for any opponent. Chambers notes that Davis's quick reflexes and explosive combinations can dismantle bigger fighters who lack defensive awareness. He explains that unless Jake becomes a true powerhouse, he'll struggle to cope with Tank's intensity and precision. According to Chambers, Davis remains one of the most dangerous pound-for-pound fighters in the sport because of his timing and composure. His remarks underline that physical size means little when facing someone as technically gifted and mentally sharp as Gervonta Davis.
That something like this can happen, but this is social media, this is what it's created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. He's gotten a lot of fighters and, you know, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot, so I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing and what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from it. And it ain't going to be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.